Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. Welcome back to another episode of the Blue Balls podcast. Now, I always end up forgetting to say match bingo until the end of the pod. So this time I thought, right, let's just tell the people straight away. Guys, if you watch the channel regularly, I apologize because you see match bingo every video. But for those of you who have not heard of match bingo, it's very, very simple. It's bingo with a twist. Instead of playing with numbers, you play with things that happen in a game. So it could be goals scored or assists in a match. Sometimes it can even be how many times a player hits the post, which obviously isn't a great thing to have on your bingo card because it doesn't happen very much. It's only capped at £2, guys. You can win hundreds of pounds on the jackpot. And 35% of the money they make goes to the Stroke Association. So you are helping a charity as well. Dan, didn't you have a mate that won? He won like 50 quid the other day, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He's seen me talking about it, seen me advertising it on Chelsea Fan TV, and he managed to get a cheeky win off of a bingo line, which is all well and good, isn't it? Having a bit of fun and doing it responsibly. Isaac.
Well, shout out to Isaac. Well done, mate. Guys, if you do win anything, let the channel know. We want to shout it out. But not everybody tells us. So, Isaac, well done, mate. 50 quid. Next week, can someone win 100 quid? That would be nice. Triple digits. And check out Match Bingo. The link is in the description. But we're going to go straight into the pod. Kev, mate, we were at the game together. You were in Sheffield with me. I've actually got a recording of you shouting at my face, telling me that I was a dickhead.
Can I just say something before you say anything, Alex? I watched Kev's fan cam, and Kev was just killing me. Yeah, he just looks like a defeated man. I was just looking at it in my head.
No, but I understand your pain, Kev. I do get it.
I was gutted. Sheffield United and all, bro, man. Like 2-1 up, I'm thinking, yeah, man, this game's done. You get me? Like, not even this done. Just Sheffield United. Nothing to worry about, bro. What does it go and do? He just changes. He brings on Buddy Shealy and Kausadi for no fucking reason whatsoever, bro. Like, we were playing shit anyway. What you go and bring up? What's Buddy Shealy going to fucking do in this game? Like, oh, we're playing crap. We're under the defense. On a defensive set play, let's bring on Balashila and Kausadi and try and keep our win. Within the first ball that came into the box, what happened, Alex? The first ball after the substitution, do you realise it was the first ball into the box and we're going to concede straight away? There's no coincidence with it. It's like, I just don't know. I just don't know anymore, bro. I was gutted. I haven't seen the video of what he's saying, but I can imagine there was having a proper rant on there.
Yeah, you called me a dickhead, and then you said, yeah, you called me a dickhead, and I was just recording the phone. I was like, my face was on there, and you were basically screaming at me. I'll see if I can pull it up while we're going. But, I mean, Kev, I don't even blame you, mate. Like, it was frustrating. But and also, I am not defending Poch because he fucking got it wrong. He got it wrong. You know,
how many times are you going to say this, though, Alex? But then you're going to be like, we need time. We need to build something. We need time. That's what you're going to tell us every single time. You've spoken about his mistakes so much, and you agree with us that he's not good tactically, and that's what we need right now. But then you will still say, I don't think we should sack him. This is the thing. Which one is it, bro?
Tactically, well, no. In terms of tactically, I mean that's winning games now. Right, absolutely. In terms of the in-game management, I've never been a big fan of Pochettino. But what he's great at doing is developing players individually. And what does everyone always say in Poch's teams at the moment? They say, oh, we always rely on individual brilliance, right? At the end of the day, his team cohesion, the way the team are tactically, it's not there. But players are improving. For me, not every single player. Absolutely. Everyone agrees with that. I think Enzo could do a lot better. I think Badia Shields regressed under Poch, even though he's had a few injury problems. But there are players that have improved. You know, Palmer's shining. I think Caicedo's been a lot better than people give him credit for, although I know in some of the recent games he's not been his best. And I think Cucurella is a lot better than last season. Gusto's developed clearly. And there are a lot of positives. But the results speak for themselves. And that's why I'm in the camp that I don't think the players are good enough. But this is where people twist my words. What they think I'm saying is that the players will never be good enough. But what I'm saying is the players aren't good enough right now. I'm not saying they're not going to be good enough in a year
Alex,
or two.
I fully understand where you're coming from, and yeah, it's obvious. Most players at that age are going to improve. Doesn't matter if it's us four managing them, and we can improve them at that age. It's like, your head's like a sponge. You're taking in advice by managers, you're doing your coaching, and you're improving all the time.
Oh,
so anyone can improve. But what I'm trying to get to is, am I still there?
Yeah, mate, you cut out there. Do you want to start again?
I don't know. Oh crap! Oh, you went off them. Sorry. Yeah. So what I'm getting to, Alex, yes, it's obvious that these players are going to improve. Like any manager, like from a League Two manager, could improve a player. Come on, this is why you're a professional. What I'm getting to is, it's happening every single game now, Alex. And if you're not seeing what's going on at the moment, bro, like we should not be. Where are we? The 10th place still in the league. We should not be 10th. Doesn't matter if these players are not good enough, brother. Yeah, like,
Progress.
We probably are not good enough, but still, the manager should not be making these decisions. Like, look, against Brentford, he's played the 5 at the back formation, yeah. So he's gone back to playing the 4 for a couple of games, then he's gone back to a 5 against another relegation team. Why are you playing Madueke right wing back? Why are you playing continuing to play Gallagher in the 10, and it's not working for him? You got Mudryk who's on the bench. He's been performing pretty decent. You got Madueke, who's been shining on the right wing, and you got Cole Palmer, who shines every single game. Why not just go with the same formation that we've been going with the last few games? Why change it to a 5 at the back?
Because he thinks about the opposition too much. Because he thinks
hasn't even played right wing back in his own.
And that's why I've told you lot already. Like, that's what I said to you a few weeks ago. I've signed out of the season because nothing will change. Yeah, Alex, I'm with you when you say that these players aren't good enough. Because, bro, look at the players that we've grown up on watching. Yeah, we can't compare these man to the players that we've watched during the time that we've been winning stuff, because it doesn't make any sense. These men are just potential, and some of them are just good right now, and they need experience around them, right? That's the level that they're at. So, like I've said, you're going to get inconsistent players, not performing certain games. We've got an inconsistent manager. Like I said, when we played Burnley, I put that game more on the players than Poch, because that game, we had enough clear-cut chances to win the game, right? But when I looked at the overall game and how we were playing, it goes down to Poch again, because, I wasn't seeing style of playing that game. So he took 30% blame, but the players in front of goal took majority of the blame. But then the other day, it was mainly on the manager, in my opinion, with how he set up the team. Like Kevin said already, playing Gallagher left wing. Why are you playing Gallagher left wing? And then you don't take him off, you go and play him on the right. Do you know what I mean? You bring on Badiashile just before a set piece. That's just basic stuff. You never make a sub when the opposition is about to take a set piece. You'd never do that, bro. Yeah? Badiashile was probably cold because in Sheffield, up north, it's fucking freezing. The guy was probably on the bench, cold, not even thinking he's going to come on. It's like, yeah, Benoit, come. I need you for a little bit of height. Come. And he puts him on and he kills him again. It was a terrible jump from him. Like I've said, he's lacking confidence right now. It's like he's got no idea what he's doing. Honestly, watching Badiashile is like watching a different player, bro. Yeah, I've got the same energy for him as the same energy I've got for Enzo, because Enzo last season was good. He was our best player when he joined. Yeah, Badiashile last season was good. That I'm not gonna be gaslighted into thinking that I was watching the same player I'm watching now, because he was good last season, right? But this year, bro, he's looking like a completely different player. There's too much pressure on this defense because we're too easy to play through. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? These sort of technical players don't like playing this chaotic football, And majority of the game, I've seen a lot of people saying that we didn't really control the midfield against Sheffield. I think Sheffield grew into the game in certain parts, but majority of the game, we were just keeping the ball and not doing anything with it, bro. And that's where I've got to look at the coach, because why is it I'm looking at the team and it just looks like a bunch of individuals? That's why we've been saying individuals have been bailing them out. We've literally been saying this week after week. Kev said it. You've said it, Alex. Dan said it as well. I've said it, that we're a one-man team, and these performances are not sustainable. And look, Burnley, we've dropped points again. Brentford, like Kev said, we dropped points the other week. You know, Sheffield will drop points again. We beat Man United, but then the easy games, which should be just straight W's on there, you know, we can't win.
It's overthinking.
That's what I'm telling you. Like nothing this season will change, bro. It won't change. I'm gonna be at Wembley because somehow up against big teams, we decide to turn up. Yeah, I don't even know why I'm doing this to myself, but I'm going Wembley and I'll be at the Emirates as well. But I have no belief, bro. It's just hope. Like I've said, what I know is nothing will change this season. I'll be real with you. I'll be very surprised. If anything, if we climb up the table and we get into Europe through the league, like top 6, then something mad has happened, yeah. And Poch has decided to just maybe call Fabregas or call Pep and ask for some help or something like that. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But nothing's going to change, bro. That's what I'm saying. I've signed out. I've tapped out this season.
Yeah, for me, I don't think you can tap out because there's still a chance. I don't understand that. You tap out last season, there was no hope. I was there.
No, bro. On paper, Alex, listen, on paper, yes, we can get top 6. It's attainable. You know, we can win the FA Cup. But what I'm saying is, my belief comes from performances, bro. And I haven't been seeing performances for months. So where am I gonna get this belief that we can do it if they're not showing me, bro? Like that'll be pure delusion for me to say, oh yeah, we can still do it. Because every single time I say that we can do it, these men let me down. These men have let me down every single time, bro. The players and the manager, bro. You know, that's how I look at it.
It's more on the players. It's literally more on the manager, because like we just said a bit ago, when you 2-1 up, this is just basic stuff that I got taught when I was in year 7. When I was a bench warmer in school. Yeah, okay. I was probably the best player, but I was always in detention. I was always getting basically my form teacher used to tell the manager, don't start Kevin because he's been naughty again. So I used to be like, bring me on. And Mr. Barrett, my teacher, who's the coach of the school, Kev, we can't bring you on yet because it's a corner kick. And that's something I learned from school. So why on a set play at a professional level, we're talking at the highest end of football, yeah, at the football pyramid, is he making a substitution when they've got a free kick? So I'm seeing man running on the pitch. I said to you, Alex, what did I say to you before? I says, why are they coming on now? And it was just all over us. And then I was saying, just deal with it. One little clip into the box where, I don't know, he was picking up the running man, kicked through one of the players, and it's a bang goal. I was vexed, bro.
And the irony of it is, Kev, yeah, he brought on Cassidy, who, by the way, today, Santos today has been given League One Player of the Month, yeah? I've been begging for this guy in January. Before we send him out, I said he needs to stay. When there was rumors between him and Cassidy, I said, keep Santos, because he can play as a 6 and he can play as an 8. We've got no Lavia, we've got no Leslie. Keep him, right? He's brought Cassidy back for height, yeah? And obviously Buddy Shield for height as well over there. He brought both of those guys on for height, and we literally looked like a clown festival, bro. Yeah, the amount of headers that we kept missing for that goal. Mudryk, Badiashile, Chalobah, all of them, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? So what was the point? That's the irony of it, is he brought more height on the pitch, and they still couldn't win their duels. Do you know what I mean? It's just like when I watch Chelsea, when that goal went in, honestly, bro, I'm not even lying here. I didn't react because I'm numb to it now. I'm actually numb to it now, bro. I don't expect anything different from us.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Dan?
Oh, it's just a mess. It's just a shambles. Look, you make the point about who we could have brought on and players that we could have kept and different loans, but it doesn't change anything for me. I'm at a complete loss after this season. I'll be honest. I didn't think the United performance was that great, but obviously the result was unbelievable in the manner that we managed to achieve it. But for 70 minutes of that game, we were absolute passengers and not in control of a single thing that was happening on the pitch. And then obviously Sheffield United, after that result, we're on a high, and you think if we can win this game, we're in a serious position here to start pushing on and getting a bit of momentum. And it just didn't happen. We never looked convincing against Sheffield United. We looked the same as we've looked against every team that I would say is fighting relegation or in a lower part of the table, that where we'd expect to win. There's a clear and obvious game plan for every team in a similar position against Chelsea. They sit back, they wait for us to make our own mistakes. They look to beat us physically because we are inept in that department. And Pochettino's bringing on height, but it's at the wrong time. If you're going to bring on height and you want to change things up, you've got to almost preempt that Sheffield United after when did Noni score? 60, 70th minute, something like that. You got to go, right, how is Sheffield United going to get back in this game? They're going to look for their height. They're going to look to beat us physically, like Burnley did, like other teams have done. Let me make this change 15, 20 minutes to go Let me make sure I've got height on the pitch. What are we going to do when Everton rock up at the Bridge on Monday night? Like, there can't be a more physical team in the Premier League than Everton. We're going to get bullied. They're going to look at how Sheffield United scored that equaliser and go, Tarkowski, like Calvert-Lewin, these sort of players, they've got leaps on them for absolute days. Like, it's just a mess.
Dan, it's every single team though. We can't. It's every single team know what to do. Me and Alex mentioned this in the preview. What Sheffield are going to do. When the push comes to shove, all you got to do is hit it in the box. And Chelsea have always been a strong team mentally to be able to cope with the hoop in the box. Right now, we're not seeing the players react. It's just react when you need to react. It's too late. They've got balls already in the net. We're seeing it on a weekly basis.
It comes from a coaching team and management that have failed to prepare. And when you fail to prepare, the saying is prepare to fail. And that is literally what we're seeing in front of our eyes, man. Like, we're not seeing any preparation to obvious ways that your average fan can tell you that when teams are coming. Look, we can all sit here and preview Everton and say, look, what are Everton's strengths? How are Everton going to win that game against Chelsea at the Bridge? And we could sit there and identify it and come up with a plan on how we'd best stop it as fans. I genuinely don't think that is happening in Pochettino's office or on the training pitch. I just don't think simple methodology into getting results is happening, because by the time it gets to half time, we've been sussed out by every single team we've come up against this season. Sometimes if a manager's better than that, they suss us out beforehand. Like, look at Man United. First 20 minutes, we start off really well. We've got some sort of idea of how we're meant to be playing in that game. And within 30 minutes, they're back in the game and level. So that's Ten Hag for you. He identified problems. He's got a great team that always looks so alert on the bench. And look, Man United aren't doing amazingly well, but I look at the cuts in that game to Chelsea's bench. Our bench looks so inactive. They don't look fazed by what's happening. They don't look bothered. How many times do you see it cut to other teams? They've all got iPads out. They're talking to the person next to them. They're trying to change something. They're trying to do something. I literally see Chelsea. They're all sat there crossed arms, flat, emotionless faces. And then literally you get an interview after the game saying, tactics don't matter to me. It's just if a player knows I'm there to support him as he's running through walls. That's what we're hearing from our manager.
And Dan, you touched up on some key points there that you spoke about the management, yeah, because people will say, you can't really blame Poch for these individual mistakes, which I agree with to an extent, right? But one thing that I spoke about with Arsenal, I done a pod the other day with Arsenal players. If you look at Arsenal's defenders, yeah, these lot are locked in, bro. In fact, if you look at their whole team, right, the way they concentrate. When I look at Saliba and Gabriel, even when they're not on the ball, they're constantly communicating with each other. You know, they're locked into the game. And that comes from the manager. Because Arteta, he does not let his standards drop. You know, this guy came from Man City. He's worked with Pep. He knows what it takes to be he's been around the winning environment. I'm not gonna say he knows what it takes to win, because he hasn't really done it yet. But he's been around the sort of environment where he knows the standards need to be here, right? So for me, again, I don't feel like Poch drills it into them. Right? I don't think he drills that mentality into them, because if he did, these guys would be locked in. There's too many lapses of concentration. You know, there's way too many. It's like in class. If you're sitting there in class and you're falling asleep, yeah, if your teacher's locked in, they're gonna say, "Yo, what are you doing?" And they'll kick you out, and they'll make sure that the next time you come back in, you ain't gonna do that shit again. You know, too many men have a lapse of concentration, and I don't feel like Poch is drilling it into them that you are at Chelsea. Yeah, you need to fix up. I think it's just too Mr. Nice Guy. And we've spoken about this before, about the arm around the shoulder. That doesn't work in modern day football, especially with these guys. Poch is overrating these players. He's giving them too much responsibility and too much trust. He needs to hold their hand because they're kids. Do you know what I mean? They're kids. And that's why he blames. And that's why he likes to blame the experience and whatnot. But he knows what he walked into.
What do you mean? You know what I mean? What do you mean? You just said that he's being too nice, but then he needs to hold their hand. What do you mean?
When I say he's being too nice, what I'm saying is he puts his arm around them too much, right? And on the pitch, like Alex, like Dan has said already, it's very clear that there's no tactics, bro. There's no style of play. I don't see anything on the pitch where I'm like, I can see a consistent pattern and I know how we play. I don't know how we play, you know? So what I'm saying is, I feel like he just tells them to go do whatever. You know, I don't feel like they're well drilled. This team doesn't look well drilled to me. You know, and you can do that. You can do that with players that are experienced, yeah. Because you know, John Terry and whatnot. When Di Matteo came in, I highly doubt they went through tactics and that. They probably just spoke and say, yo, we need to win the game, get it done however means, yeah, because them guys are experienced and they're world-class players. But with players at this level, bro, you can't just let them do their own thing. You cannot let them do their own thing. You need to drill them, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
They're not drilled. Look at Saturday. Look, I don't know what the fuck happened when you met them substitutions, brother. I was confused because Modric came off the bench. Where was he? Could you tell me what position he came onto, or what he was? He was
on the right hand side, wasn't he?
He was on the right. No, Gallagher was there.
On the right hand side. Who knows? Because Modric was in the centre 1 minute, and then the next minute he was on the right. So
you know what? I think he can. You know what's so crazy, bro? He took off Jackson for Cassidy. I think he put Modric up top. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Yes, he did. Yes.
He put Modric up top. This is a scary man. This is a scary man.
No, it's nuts. It's great, Alex. That last 10 minutes, that was the worst tactical setup I have seen from a Chelsea team probably ever. I don't know if it was a 5. I don't know if it was a 4. I don't know if it was a 3. I don't know who was playing where. I don't know if he was pressing. I don't know if he was keep. I don't know what was we doing. It was.
I don't think it was obvious for the whole game, Kev, what the system was.
The worst. The last 15 minutes was worse. But what I'm getting to is this is the worst team, one of the worst teams in Premier League history we are dealing with here. And they are doing this to us. I was thinking they are doing this to us. So imagine if you come up with these tactics against a better opposition. You know what I'm trying to get to? I just don't know. Why is it making it difficult? Why not stick to the basics, what we've been doing? The 4-2-3-1. Keep it the same. Let the players know what they're doing. Stop bringing players on in different positions, this and that. This is why I believe, I don't want to keep saying it, Pochettino is continuing to kill this team. And there's nothing else we can do right now apart from sit and watch. Because the owners are not going to sack him right now. So all we can do is sit and watch. And we turn up most weeks. Alex, you're turning up every single week. You're going to watch that shit, brother. Like, I was going to sell my Wembley tickets, brother. I'm going to Wembley. I was looking to sell them because I can't be asked doing this shit anymore, brother. I've had, like, that drive on from Sheffield was an eye-opener for me to make me realise what am I doing in my life here? What am I travelling all the way up to Sheffield, spending money for that shit? Like, I've had enough of it, brother. And
I'll keep spending my money, Kev. That's just maybe we look at it differently, but it doesn't matter how bad we are.
But we just want our manager just to set us up and give the players the right advice, and we can see things happen as fans. Right now, it's an absolute disgrace what he's doing to this team, Pochettino.
What we'll say,
a disgrace.
Whichever manager come in after Tuchel was going to have a tough time. Last season, we can all agree, was a harder job than this season. What we have this season is we have a more hungry team, right? We really think that. We didn't have that last year, but we
look lost.
Do I think we lack quality?
I think last season was a hard. I think last season was a harder job than this year for sure.
Yeah,
you had a lot of players that didn't want to be here anymore, bro.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's probably the lowest of the low you can get at a football club when your players don't even want to play for you, right? And I don't feel like I've felt that at all this season. I've always felt like every single player is actually giving 100%. Now, of course, there are exceptions. I thought the Middlesbrough game was an absolute disgrace, and that was the key one for me. A lot of these other games that we spoke about, Brentford, I would say Sheffield as well. I'm not seeing a lack of effort. I'm just seeing players that aren't able to
understand and a lack of ability.
You know, and I agree. The coaching in that sense, the way it looks, it's not good enough. It is absolutely good enough. But then we go down the long list of coaches who we could end up bringing in. I don't see those coaches taking this job, man. I don't see that. And I honestly think that Pochettino at this moment in time, especially if we don't get European football, he's the best one out there in terms of a CV on paper.
Alex, you're looking at look, listen, yeah. Look, right now, let me put it this way. Sterling on paper is one of the best wingers that the Premier League has seen on paper. Yeah. But in reality, Sterling is grenade football and is on his way out. That's the reality of it, right? Mm-hmm. In reality, yeah, Poch is not a good coach, bro. he's not a good coach. He might have had a CV from Tottenham and all of these places, but I'm sorry, that is not enough. Yeah, that is not a reason to keep him in his job, because he hasn't shown us anything that he was showing at Tottenham in terms of developing these, man. Like you've said, we've spoken about this before. You think he's improved players. I'm not going to go into that in a lot of detail because I don't think he has. Yeah, I think he's improved Gallagher massively because I can see a clear difference from last year. Palmer and Gusto were ballers before they even came to Chelsea. They're just not listening to him, and good on them, because I wouldn't listen to him either if I was playing for Chelsea right now.
That's not true though.
I'll just do my own thing, and I'll be real. Enzo shouldn't listen to him either. Enzo should just play his own game, because now I'm seeing so many people talking crazy on Enzo. You know, it seems like apparently we've been hoodwinked by Benfica. You know, and that's why I can't stand this manager, because he's got rivals and people talking crazy on quality players, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm sorry, bro. Like that, all that's but look at his CV. That's not gonna do anything for me, because in reality, this manager is not good enough tactically, bro. He's not.
No, but then we say, okay, but then we say, right, who are we gonna bring in? You're not gonna get
De Zerbi, bro. I've told you who my option is. I want to bring in De Zerbi.
Is not taking this job. Are you telling? So let's just say Bayern Munich offered De Zerbi their job. He's not choosing Chelsea over Bayern Munich. He's not doing it.
There's a debate. There's a debate to be had about the Premier League and the Bundesliga, bro. There is. Let's be real.
It's going to Bayern, bro.
Listen.
If they offer him the job, he's going.
If you look at De Zerbi, right?
Give me another option, Don. Give me another one. You've named one manager, right? One manager. Fair enough. That could be a realistic option.
Tuchel or Jose.
They would never offer Tuchel the job.
Jose as well.
There was a time in the season where I genuinely felt like the return of a winner was the right option, but now I think with just how the club is moving and everything, I just don't see that as being realistic at all with the owners and the way the fan base is. We need to build something with this team, because I don't think the money's going to be there, albeit with the changes in the profit and sustainability rules that will actually enable us to spend more money. I just don't really see them being an option. I think De Zerbi's a possibility. I think there's an outside chance he could be interested. It's obviously, we've been to Brighton a lot, and there'll be scathing comments about returning there. But hear me out on this. I'd rather have Gary O'Neill in charge of these players than I'd have Pochettino. I think he's done a job at Wolves that no one saw happening. Everyone had them to be favourites for relegation, and what he's got out of that team is unbelievable. I think he's great with young players. I think he has a clear idea in how he wants to play football. I'd have Areola at Bournemouth. I think he's done the same. It started off a bit ropey, but the football that Bournemouth are playing is far better and with a clear identity than Chelsea. And I think they'd be realistic options. And yeah, they're way off what we should be looking at and what we've looked at in the past, but we're way off that standard as well. But Pochettino, for me, just lacks so much in such important areas as a manager. I just don't see him as a feasible and realistic option to continue as Chelsea manager.
Yeah, I have to say, by the way, Dan, those are cracking names, especially Gary O'Neill, actually. For me, if I'm the owner, though, the way I'm just imagining what they're thinking, they're looking for a sexy name. And Gary O'Neill is not one of those sexy managers on the market. You don't think, oh, fucking hell, I want Gary O'Neill.
Yeah, no chance.
I've got a lot of Wolves mates who like diehard Wolves fans, and when they got rid of Lou Bugatti and brought in Gary O'Neill, they was fucking looking to riot. There was like, who's this guy? All of a sudden, they're literally sucking the guy's toes. Like, they literally love the guy to bits.
Is that Easter appreciation?
They obviously flopped against Coventry, but that's probably the only bad thing they've done all season. So fair play to go, but that's too low down for my standards, mate. I want someone who's been at that pinnacle. We need someone who's got the mentality. All these, there's a lot of aspiring managers. Like Dan's brilliant idea bringing on Nils and that, but I think, are these players with these egos going to respect a guy that hasn't done anything? A guy like Jose, he's come in and doing it, they'll respect him more. They'll be like,
he's not taking the job.
How do you know?
Wait, hold on, Kev.
What do you mean? He literally said this is not the same Chelsea. He literally said it.
Alex, you're confusing me. You said you feel in your opinion last season was a harder job than this season.
Yes.
So why in your opinion, right, will a manager like De Zerbi, considering the sort of profile of players that we've got, considering we're still Chelsea, I know we're in the mud right now, but if you actually watched us this season, Poch has created a lot of this mess, right? If you're actually a Chelsea fan and you've been watching the team week in, week out, I
wouldn't say that. I would go higher than that.
Like I said, it comes from the top. They've created the mess ultimately, but again, Poch doesn't go off scot-free, right? So why, in your opinion, will De Zerbi look at the job and say, nah, I don't want that at all? Because I don't agree with that.
I'm not saying that he wouldn't want the job. I'm saying if he's got any sense and he wants to be at the pinnacle, he goes to Bayern Munich. I mean,
But
first of all,
that might not be an option for De Zerbi, because let's be realistic, they're now below us in the league table. I don't think, obviously, he's achieving what he is at Brighton with a lesser team. There's no doubt about it. But I think if he is to go to Bayern Munich, then obviously you can't turn that down, especially in the position that Chelsea are in. But if Bayern isn't a realistic option for him, then I think he'd be interested in the Chelsea job.
That's
I think a lot of people would be. And I actually think that Don made a point there saying that Poch is responsible for a lot and we can go higher and whatever. But there's no doubt about it. The amount of times we've sat here and discussed games, there's at least 5 or 6 games that Pochettino is solely responsible for his setup alone. And that's 30 points if you win all those games, right? Or 15 points if it's 5 games. But I think we could get to 10 if we really tried. That's what was in my head as I was saying that point. I think we could find 10 games where Pochettino has made irresponsible and confusing choices that have ultimately led us to a draw or a defeat. And if you look at where that would put us in the table, we'd be in a European position. And I'm not saying that would be realistic for us right now if we were on 60, 70 points. But I genuinely think if you look at the games where we've dropped points, we could get up to in and around the 50, 55 point mark on mistakes that have been made by Pochettino solely. Like very comfortably, we could find those mistakes. There's 2 in the last week and a half against Burnley and Sheffield United. Like that's 4 points dropped. So add that on 4 points. We're climbing. We'd be above Newcastle and West Ham with 4 points.
Brentford.
So we'd be in 7th if you won those games. Then if you beat Brentford, we'd be above Man United. Like obviously that's hypothetical talk, but they're 3 games in recent months or the recent month
that 3 weeks.
Yeah. That are literally down to the fault of Pochettino and how he decided to set up his team. What baffles me, right, is if you were going to try something different, you'd at least give it a bit of time on the training pitch and say, this is how we're going to prepare for this game. But he's tried something different after literally the players being in recovery, not in training. They wouldn't have trained in that time between Man United and Sheffield United. And if they did, it would have been one day and not enough time to implement a new system and players in new positions. It's just absolutely crazy.
You know what's scary? You know what's scary, Dan? Yeah, the other day, I'm trying to get the quote up now, yeah? After the game, when we it feels like I was about to say lost against Sheffield. It felt like a loss. The man literally came out and said, I'm paraphrasing now because I can't remember the exact quote, but he literally came out and said, we are still trying to work out
struggling against teams.
We're still trying to work out the profile of players that we're basically working with right now, right? And what's one of the main things I've been speaking to you about? My problem with Poch. I've said this guy doesn't know how to use these players, right? And it's very obvious that he doesn't know how to use them because he's not getting the best out of them. And he's basically come out and said that. I don't, Alex, again, I don't expect that from a man who's got a CV like what you've been saying, yeah? If you get a job, yeah, and you've got 15 years experience doing that job and you're struggling to do the basics, you're going to get sacked. They ain't going to give you 7, 8 months, 9 months. You're going to fail your probation. You're going to get sacked, right? So why is it acceptable for a manager that's got the CV that you said earlier he's got to still be trying to work out the profile of the players that we've got, right, in April, okay? I know he hasn't got the best tools. He hasn't got Mbappe's. He hasn't got all these world-class experienced players, but he's got enough to cook a meal. Like I've said before, he can go downstairs in the cupboard and he's got rice. He's got this. He's got that. He can make a meal and he can eat food. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we're missing a lot of key players right now. That's understandable. That's the reality. In Cuckoo, Lavia, Reece James, all these guys can be starting. Fofana, they can all be starting for us. But I'm sorry, we've got 1 game a week. Yeah, you've got more than enough time to drill what you want to do and get your team playing like how you want them to play. Build a bit of chemistry. But he has not been able to do that, and that's the main problem. Like I've said, it shouldn't take this long to know your best 11. It shouldn't take this long to know that Ben Chilwell is not a left wing. Gallagher's not a 10. Gallagher's not a winger. Levi Cole is not a left back. The list is endless. The rap sheet is long, bro. I've got a recall on Pochettino. Do you know what I'm saying? It's long, and this is a manager that I wanted. Do you know what I'm saying? But you have to be objective here, bro. This guy, he's just not good.
He actually said, Don, after that Sheffield United game, that it gave us an opportunity to see Palmer in a new position. Like, how mad is that? What, you've got this kid, that people are talking about for player of the month or young player of the year, but you think you want to see him in another position when you've already tried him as this striker, false nine, whatever it was, and that didn't work. Then you moved him back out to his position and he started providing us with goals and assists again. And then you're like, actually, let me try him somewhere else. It's like, obviously this probably happens when you sign one new player, but because it's a whole new group and Pochettino's never seen any of them play football before, he's obviously thinks he needs a season to look at players doing different things. The thing that baffles me, and this is where I have the biggest questions with Poch. No, it shouldn't, mate. And this is why, and this is where I have questions with him, because this is a guy, that looked at his defensive lineup and went, Who's the player that could play right back if I lose everyone? Oh, let me choose the heaviest, biggest geezer, that's going to struggle to run up and down the right flank, and I'm going to play him at right back when he's got Gilchrist, he's got Chalobah who's played there before. He goes, now, you know what? £250, Dazassi, go on, have a go, mate. Run up and down there for me.
How about that, Dan? Go get an academy player. It's Sheffield United.
He went and got one from Alfie Gilchrist, and he don't trust him. And obviously, I haven't seen enough in Alfie to suggest that he's good enough either for the Chelsea first team to be starting. And I think last year,
even Alfie's not a right back. He's more.
Yeah, but Alfie's all right. Alfie is never, ever going to be a Premier League quality centre back. There's just no doubt. If he is, it's in a back three, and it'll be an absolute shock for me if he does.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought up Dazassi, because he did the same thing when we played Brentford. And guess who was playing at right wing that day and got hooked off at half time? Madueke, right? Because you've got Dazassi, like you said, a heavy guy, not trying to break the line. Even during the game, Cole Palmer's shouting at him saying, "Go." But I'm not even looking at Dazassi for that. I'm looking at the manager.
Yeah, that's unfair to judge Dazassi on that, because it's not a fair job for his body type to be able to be asked to carry out that role. And to be fair to Dazassi, we've actually seen him some games, like he scored the goal where he bombed on from right back at the Bridge earlier on in the season, didn't he? And he's been okay, but like that's a real stretch to ask him to play at right back. And it just tells me that like Pochettino, when he's looking at a player, he's either not doing his research or he's just way off it in what he thinks is going to work in modern day football, and his tactics are 10, 15 years behind. And I genuinely think he probably looks at his Spurs team and go, oh yeah, remember I moved Vertonghen out to left back like in 2013? That used to work quite well. Well, 11 years down the line, mate, that ain't an option anymore. That doesn't work. It just, but we can laugh about it. I watched an interview with Eric Dyer and he was talking about how Poch had made this Tottenham team and they were fighters and they were so fit and they were so strong in what they believed in and had an idea of what they wanted to do. And I was like, that couldn't be further from what Pochettino is getting from this Chelsea side. Like, I genuinely believe he might just have taken this job to actually ruin Chelsea. I'm not even lying,
bro. Thank you. I told you.
And I know that sounds outrageous, but like, it just wouldn't surprise me if there's something.
I said
going
it,
on
man.
It's so far off the levels he's got from teams before.
The substitutions he's making, mate, makes me wonder if he's actually his kid. That was blatant to see.
Imagine he just is so bitter that we beat him at the Bridge and he cried that he just wants his payback. I know that sounds mad, but what we're seeing is so delusional that it could be true.
It doesn't, bro. I called him a spy months ago when we played Newcastle. Yeah, and we won that game where, again, Mudryk saved his ass. Yeah, I called him a spy, bro. And that was back in when? November, October? Do you know what I'm saying? It's what you're saying, bro. I hear it. I fully hear it because
moving on them.
Just mad.
Maybe we're going crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that bad.
We may as well call this show the Pochettino podcast.
Go on, Kev. You want to talk about the stadium? Let's talk about some good news for Chelsea.
All right. So, everyone's thought it's obviously the potential £2 billion groundwork starting in 2027. Obviously, we've brought out some land behind the 100 military veterans homes, 80 million purchase. So all the properties just beyond Stamford Bridge, we brought them out.
Oswald style mansions or something, Kev.
Yeah. So how is everyone's feelings on this new development plans, and how do you think that will change the club going forward?
Has anyone looked at the plans? Has anyone actually looked and seen the area of land that we bought?
It looks amazing, but what the plans that they've seen? There's actually a cemetery behind the ground, and the plans. So the plans when it was all like on the actual planning stuff, it goes actually into the cemetery. So I don't know what they're doing there, but I don't think they're going to buy the cemetery now and build over that.
Because I looked at the area of land that they bought and I felt like it's great to have that additional bit of land, but I can't really see how it sort of changes what we could do with the ground. Obviously, it's one of the main things for Clear Lake Capital, obviously, and Blue Code. they obviously want to acquire more land because it ultimately means more profit if they ever decide to sell on pieces of land or whatever. It's things that will generate them money. But I think we'd all love a new stadium, wouldn't we? Like, Alex, what do you think? Would you want a new stadium? Would you want to stay at Stamford Bridge, or would you want to move? What are your thoughts? Obviously, it looks like we're going to stay if we're buying land there.
Alex has invested in the stadium. Didn't you hear him earlier? He said, "I'll pay money regardless of what's going on at my club." You know,
Hey, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to stop going to games just because we're bad. I don't believe in that.
No, that's not what being a fan's about,
man.
man. No way. There are fans there that are 60-year-old that never saw it, like didn't see us in the first division. They were there when we nearly went out of business. They were there when my first game was when Gronkia scored against Liverpool, and if we'd never got that, Chelsea might not be the club it was today. Like, the fans go whether we win or lose. It's just so hurtful, and we're all well aware of what the standards are now at Chelsea Football Club that other people aren't, and it just hurts us to see how people can be so far off the standards we've seen for 20 years, and we all understand how to get there, but the people in charge don't. But I think stadium's a bit of good news, Kev. I think you're right. Like, it'll be good if we could stay there and get a stadium going, because when you look around London, you see these teams with great stadiums. You can't deny it. Stamford Bridge is looking old now.
Well, we'll have to mark it. I haven't been there for a couple of years, and I'm sat in that east stand, and I went to the toilet, and it looks horrid. It's not like when I was at City just a few weeks before, and I'm going to the bridge, like we're well off it. So I think the Clear Lake and the blue coat, they're thinking in the pockets. They're thinking if they've got the ground like Tottenham's, they're going to be doing all kinds of stuff there. They're going to be doing all the F1 and the NFL. They're thinking about that. They're not thinking about the fans. They're thinking about how much money can we bring in from this ground, which is smart business. But yeah, I think it is time now that we regenerate this ground, and and let's give us, because at the end of the day, it's hard to get tickets as it is. We've only got 40,000. Like, other teams have got 60,000, 65,000. So it's good news for like people like myself who want to get tickets. But it's all good news, really. It was great. Even thinking Everton are moving into a new ground next year, so we can't be getting left behind any longer. So yeah.
Do you know what worries me, right? Is that if this ground is not being, like, they're not even starting it till 2027, how long does it take to build a ground? Say 5 years. That's 2032, 2033.
2030.
Right? That means they would have already had the club for 10 years. They're not going anywhere, are they, after 10 years? I know some of us are saying, they can't sell it for 10 years and whatever, but I reckon they're not going anywhere. Like, they're not going to just go if they just build a stadium. They want to reap the rewards from it. So,
well, I'll be in my 40s by the time this ground's built. That's crazy. That's not even fair. Like, I'm not even going to see the ground for long.
That's not even fair. It's so funny, yeah. What's going on there? There's a few.
Alex isn't a fan of the new ground, by the way.
There's a few people I saw on Twitter counting down. They're like, only 8 more years till they go.
Do you know what, right? I saw a thing saying that apparently, it was on Twitter. It said that if we get to if the £1 billion is spent, it means that once that's spent, they could start taking money out of the club. So actually, that's why they were in such a rush to either spend £1 billion or do like 10 years. But I think a fair investment, they probably looked at it and thought, right, that's 100 million guaranteed investment over 10 years. Clear Lake have gone, now we want money out of this ASAP. They've just spent the £1 billion as fast as they can, and now they can start drawing money out. I'm not sure if that's factually true, but there's a few people on Twitter saying that that's the reason behind them trying to spend £1 billion ASAP, because now they can start withdrawing the money.
Yeah, no, I would look into that, man. You know, there's people obviously that don't like these owners, and they just make up agendas and narratives.
There's definitely stuff written into the contract, though. I can't say that's facts, but there's definitely stuff written into the contract that would suggest that they have to commit an investment and commit an amount of time and not just turn it around for a quick sale or something like that. But we're back at the bridge Monday against Everton. Like, what are your thoughts? Because I'm dreading it, boys. Like, the Everton couldn't be a worse side to play at the moment after how we lost to Sheffield or drew. It feels like a loss to Sheffield United.
And we hate playing against them as well. Last year at the bridge, I was there. Remember, Havertz scored that penalty, and then that Sims guy came off the bench. I even said to the guy next to me, "What's his Sims brother gonna do?" And then all of a sudden, you see Koulibaly get done up, and he scored. You know, just before the ref blew the whistle.
Yeah.
So, man, it's just I don't even know what to say, man. Honestly, because
we just know what's coming against Everton.
Yeah.
Like Sean Dyche, what kind of football does he like to play? He in the box, get it in different areas, great on set plays. We are not going to win this game. No, I'm just going to be honest with you.
You know what it is? We're not going to. I'm not confident about the game because again, Pochettino doesn't play the football that we need to be playing with these players. He's going to make it into a chaotic game and a game that Sean Dyche will like. Because when it comes to duels and whatnot, physically we're playing against men, bro. Like
structured.
Oski, all these guys, Braithwaite, all these guys are big guys. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just look at it and think every single game when we concede a corner, like I've said, it honestly feels like a penalty. And against Everton, they're gonna be rubbing their hands like this every single corner that they get. You know, every single corner that they get. You know,
they're working hard. I bet in training they are working. They're seeing.
I don't think they're working hard, Kev. I think they're probably not even. I think they're probably even doing 5 minutes at the end. Oh yeah, it's Chelsea this week, man. Don't worry, man. That's fine. That's fine.
I think if you got Chelsea's weaknesses and put it out there on the table and said, what team has the best chance of scoring against Chelsea's weaknesses on paper? Yeah, it's Everton. I genuinely think that is it. You go, they're useless at corners. They're useless defense in corners. They're useless in how they set up. They've got a manager that shows no fight. What are they going to be most scared of? And I genuinely think if you picked a list out of the other 19 teams, Everton would be really high up there. They really would. I'm properly worried. Do you know, I've got a big debate in my head now, and I feel like this was so solved a few weeks ago as we knew the people that were going to be behind Jackson. We knew it was probably going to be Palmer, Sterling, and Conor Gallagher, right? That was kind of set as that three in front of Enzo and Caicedo. Do you think now that's looking the most sort of uncertain in terms of positions on the pitch? Who do you think is going to be playing there against Everton? Because I just don't know what our best options are there now.
Gallagher will start every single game, even though we have all acknowledged as a fan base, even proper Chelsea, whether they want to call themselves, even they know deep down that this guy shouldn't be starting week in, week out. And a clear representation of that is when we played Man United. He only kicked the ball off the pitch just before their third goal. He kicked it off the pitch. And why am I hearing people clapping, bro? I'm hearing people clapping. What is going on? Do you know what I'm saying?
You mean the pass that went viral? Is that the one you're on about?
Yes, bro. When he kicked it off the pitch, they were clapping him, bro, after to say oh, come on, go again. And I'm thinking, bro, he does this all the time. If this was Enzo, they'll start shouting on a mad one. Do you know what I mean? So how I look at it, bro, Gallagher's gonna start regardless because at the end of the day, he's the captain, which is disgusting in itself.
I'm just fed up of seeing it done. I'm fed up,
but unfortunately, we're just gonna have to put up with it until the end of the season, you know. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted him sold in the summer, because I said this is Poch's player on paper, bro. You know,
who's gonna start alongside him?
It'll be Gallagher in the 10. Yeah, it'll be Enzo and Caicedo on the pivot because we've just got no one else that.
Of course, no, I agree.
Yeah. And then you probably you see Palmer back on the right again, Jackson up top. On the left, you'll most likely see Mudryk come back into the 11. In my opinion, I think Mudryk will come back in for this one. They've got Ashley Young playing at right back still in it, so he played well against him last time we played Everton. If you remember that game, what was the score of that game? Was it 2-0 or 1-0? It was 2-0 in it when we lost in that green kit.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
That's when I saw Enzo running that left wing. I saw Enzo running that left wing.
I think it was 2 that game.
It was 2-0.
I think that was away, wasn't it?
It was away, bro. It was away. Mudryk was playing well on that right hand side. Reece James got injured in that game.
Oh yeah, the reverse fixture, Everton.
Yes.
2-0 Everton.
I remember that was like
we conceded on a counter. We conceded on a corner.
There we go then. You see,
on a corner kick, I was literally sitting right there.
Yeah, you were at the game, Kev. I remember. He came off injured as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
so we conceded 90th minute in that game as well from a corner.
Yeah. It was completely static. That corner, I cannot remember a team, any team, not Chelsea, just being so static. The ball come in, we cleared the ball, and their players just gone like, I took a touch and they kicked it in. No one's reacted. This is what I've come to earlier. we're not reacting to when other teams are getting like chance and goal. Everyone's just static, standing there like who's going? I'm used to seeing John Terry running at the ball head first and stuff like that. Well, where's the player that who's taking the tendency and saying, "You know what? Come on, let's go, lads. Let's get the ball." It's just
that's what I said earlier, Kev. Our players aren't locked in, and that I'm sorry, that comes from upstairs. If your manager is constantly drilling it into you, you man concentrate. I promise you will see a change in mentality. But again, just too much. Yeah, boys, go on, do your thing. Show me what you can do. Show daddy what you can do. You know what I'm saying? Pause. It's annoying, bro. It's really annoying, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I was just looking then at the goal that was scored from that corner. It's an absolute mess. Like Petrovic goes for the ball, it comes out to someone on the edge of the box. Like it just looks like an absolute shambles, and it kind of tells us like that was 3 months ago. Nothing's changed. Like we're not seeing improvements. We're not seeing any differences. And this is what baffles me: is people are saying, "Oh, there's individual mistakes from the players and things like this," but surely if there's individual errors being made, Kev, you're a coach. I was a coach for years. If players were making individual mistakes in my game, it was my job as a coach to improve them and educate them as to why, how they made that mistake, how to improve, how to do better. And I know when it gets to the top level, people think that the players are already good enough and they already know why. But actually, these players are so young and they've got such small amount of game time. If we're looking at other teams in the Premier League, that actually it probably takes a coach to come along and go, do you know what? This is what you're doing wrong. This is what you need to do different at a corner. This is how you need to play out from the back in a different way. I think Pochettino just asked them to do it and expects, because normally when you're at teams, that's genuinely how it is with players who are professional footballers. But right now, I just think that these players are so young that their education actually hasn't finished. And as crazy as this is, most of these players, like, their brains aren't even fully developed. They're not even at that age where I think it's your like frontal lobe or something like that doesn't even stop developing till like 25. So they are still at a stage where they can be educated and learn.
Spot on, Dan. That's what I said. That's what I said earlier. I said, bro, he's trusting these guys too much. You know, he's giving them too much responsibility when they need their hands. You know, big up Alex. He's back again. But that's what
my computer just stopped working. I tried to join on my phone. I couldn't have myself, so I'm using Rachel's computer. That's my webcam's so blurry.
Oh, I thought you just quickly put some makeup on.
Yeah, it looks like you got a filter on, man.
I thought, Alex, you were so unhappy about us staying at Stamford Bridge. You were like, right, I'm out of it.
Holy shit, I'm gone.
It looks like you got a filter on, bro.
I'll be honest with you, boys. I'll be honest. Even still, like I don't know about you, boys. I mean, actually, fair play. You're still happy. It's so negative, isn't it? Like, I don't even know what you said for the past 10 minutes because I was still trying to get.
We've been previewing Everton, Alex. We've been previewing Everton.
I mean, it's shit. It's so shit. You know,
is that why you made the Chalobah song, Alex? Is that why you made the Chalobah song?
Mate, I fucking run a fan channel about shit. Because that's what Chelsea are, right? We're so bad. And like, honestly, like I'm sitting here and you guys are making very valid points about Poch, I can't defend it, a lot of it. I still don't believe necessarily we should sack him straight away. Because again, we've had this conversation, boy. I don't even want to get into it. It's depressing. Look, if it's not good enough, it's not good enough. He's going to go. If we don't qualify for Europe, I'm going to hold my hands up. And if they sack him, they sack him. And if we don't sack him, and then we start next season off shaky, then yeah, there you go. But I mean, how do you smile through this? Like, I've come on here and you smile. How do you smile? I don't.
We were laughing at how bad it is, but I think that's the most important thing, is that you have to, even if like we're laughing at how bad it is and that's what we're finding the positives in and the funniness, like you just have to remember that ultimately as a fan base, all of us want the same thing. We all want Chelsea to win, and there's no point getting really down about it, because I know actually there's probably a lot of people watching this podcast or tuning to the fan cams and they're down that they can't get to the games and voice their opinion on how bad things are. And a lot, we got to remember this, a lot of people that watch Chelsea Fan TV, like they probably are really affected by how bad it is supporting Chelsea right now. And I think it's so
That's right.
important to remember, that
Yeah.
no matter how bad it gets as a Chelsea fan and how much it ruins your weekend, like it's actually really important to not let it get you down that much and ruin your
Oh
weekend.
no,
And I know that's hard because I'm the first person.
I'm not gonna
to
lie.
ruin
I'm
my
not gonna
weekend.
lie. That drive home on Sunday was deep, bro.
It's
Like,
tough, bro, but
it
you
was
have to
hard,
remember,
man.
like, you've got to
You
go
know, like,
out and
because
find the positives.
Sheffield was probably one of the best away days we've had this season, and I'm sure Alex would agree with me. The vibes.
What are
Of
you
absolute-
talking about? One of the
What?
best away
Villa?
days.
No, Sheffield was a good away day,
I'm in
wasn't
the
it?
bar
I'm
with
talking
Trevor
about-
Chalobah.
Just talking about banter wise and the travel down there.
Alex, sing it for us. Alex, sing it for us, man. I saw you on the train with your beer in your hand, singing about Chalobah in the bar, something like that.
Viral, by the
boy,
way.
that was
Alex
the
has
best
gone
thing
viral.
about that day.
Go on, give us a
I had
rendition, Alex.
my boys messaging me like, "Oh, is this what your fan base are on now?" And I was laughing because obviously
That was
I
dead.
yeah.
That
is what
Palmer
we're
one,
on.
that Palmer one was not too bad as well. We literally sang that for about 3 hours straight. That Palmer one, it was good. It's good vibes.
Yeah, when we get a song this season, we love it, don't we?
Yeah, it's good.
Here
Can't
we
hear
go.
it.
We can't hear it. You've got
Can't hear it.
With Trevor Chalobah.
There we go. He's got the tune.
Alex, it was
Who
a
made
song.
that song? Who's the culprit?
That's
I was part of the group that made it. I didn't start it, but I was there. I didn't start it. No, it wasn't my idea. But I was part of the group, so I am claiming it. Of course, I'm claiming it.
it's a no. It's a no from me, brother. That song.
Oh, now look, you boys. I said this to Alex before we started.
You know, Brent's got talent when you press the buzzer straight away, bro.
Nah, hear me out on this, yeah? Trevor Chalobah scores the winner at Wembley. That song will be sung all night long.
That's the only time
long, and you know that's facts.
That's the only time I'm singing it. I can't lie.
I promise. If he scores a winner, that song will take off, and it will stick around forever. It just will. It's such a catchy little tune, mate. I was saying to Alex, I was making my cup of tea earlier, yeah, and I just started singing to myself like, I'm just standing at the bar, and mate, it's catchy, man. It's gonna stick. It's honestly,
Yeah.
I don't mind it, mate. It's good that Chelsea fans are finding a way to have a laugh after such an awful, like, devastating performance in a game like that away at the worst team the Premier League's seen since Derby County.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, listen, guys, we're gonna wrap it up there. I know I missed 10 minutes of the Everton preview. What's your score predictions before we wrap up? What was your score predictions? Did you have any?
Yeah, I'll go for 2-1 Everton.
Fucking hell. Deep. I'll go 1-1.
I'm gonna say the same as Dan. 2-1 Everton.
I'm not even going there.
Go on, Alex. You got to say Chelsea win, ain't you?
Mate, I'm going to leave the predictions to you boys this week. Honestly, I stick one in there. I said we beat Sheffield 2-1. I was there. Then we fucking conceded, didn't we? So, yeah, not this week. I'm going to give it a miss. But listen, guys, in the comments, if you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching. Sorry there was a technical issue. My Wi-Fi just cut out. But listen, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Obviously, everyone else's channel will be in the description as well. Give them a follow. And pray for Chelsea. Pray for Chelsea. But if you're not praying for Chelsea, pray for Chelsea fans. Pray for Chelsea fans. Hashtag pray for Chelsea fans. All the best, guys. And we will speak very, very soon.